How's it doing, folks? And welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Untinning video. Today, we're going to be opening the 2020 Tin of Lost Memories. We're going to be opening three of them. Now, the retail release for this tin was in August of 2020 on the 27th. So it's a roughly a year old pack. Though they still, at least in my experience where I live, relatively still available in your local card shops and your local retail stores like Walmart. But before we get to that, there's one little thing I want to mention, and specifically about the t-shirts that I wear. So going forward, and this will become important eventually, but going forward, I'm going to try and wear a different t-shirt for every video, starting in this video. So just a little bit of backstory on the current t-shirt that I have on. So I'm wearing a yellow t-shirt, and it has the symbol for Gloose Cap on it. Now, the little story behind this t-shirt is that back when I was in high school, we had a house system. And so we had yellow for Gloose Cap, we had red for Acadia, blue was for Royals, and green was for the Privateers. And I ended up being in Gloose Cap. Now, initially when I got into the house, I was pissed because I found at that time the colors red, green, and blue were way more appealing to me than yellow. But as the years went on, I actually did really enjoy it and get involved in my house because we had like house tournaments sometimes too, and I kind of grew into it, I guess. So now it's like a nice reminder of my time in high school, and I can honestly say I'm probably one of very few people, at least that I know, that actually enjoyed all 3 years of my high school life. Now that was mainly because I was relatively social, and I also did start a Super Smash Bros. Club, so there was that too. I used my connections on the tech crew to make that happen, but that's a story for another time. So actually, let me know in the comments section if you what groups or clubs were you involved in high school, and did you genuinely enjoy your high school life? But enough of that. Just keep in mind going forward about the t-shirts because that will come into play at some point. So without further ado, let's actually dive into opening the tins. So these tins actually have bigger mega packs. If you'll remember back from our previous video on doing our first tin, I'm pretty sure the mega packs in those tins only had 15 cards, 15 or 16 cards. Now these ones actually have 18. These mega packs, and there's one prismatic secret rare. There are two ultra rares, two super rares, one rare, and 12 commons. Now, let's actually just dive right into it. Now, these packs, they are a collection of the popular cards from 2019 from those sets, which include things from the likes of Savage Strike, Dark Neostorm, Rising Rampage, and Chaos Impact. Now, one other very special thing about these tins is that there was a chance to get a new fusion monster, and it's actually pretty busted and pretty broken, known as Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So I have 3 chances to get it, so hopefully I'll be able to pull it out of one of these tins. Along with that, there are also 3 new world premiere cards, which hopefully I'll be able to pull as well. And then the other very interesting thing, which I happened to mention in a previous video as well, is that the actual kind of raised imprint on the tin is of the battle between the Pharaoh and the priest Seto, which is part of the Tablet of Lost Memories. Now, a nice little thing that Konami is doing is they're actually, so the 2021 Tin of Lost Memories will be kind of like the next part up here of the Tin of Memories, and you can actually display these one on top of the other. So I believe in 2022 they'll probably finish off the tin with the Tablet of Memories. And it's interesting here because you can kind of see the cards that the Pharaoh and the Priest are playing. So here we have the traditional look. I know it was changed for international releases, but I believe the Japanese monster reborn actually is a symbol of the Ankh. But because the Ankh is considered a religious like symbol, you know how when it comes to North America and everywhere else, they always like do these kind of like sometimes these BS translations or image changes. One classic example is when they brought Sailor Moon to the North Americas. They made the so in Japanese, Necklite and Zoisite are both men, and they have a very intimate relationship. But when they brought it over to North America, they made Zoisite, which is I believe the blonde haired one. They made him into a woman to make the relationship more natural, which I believe is total BS. Anyway, to me, love is love. Love whoever you want, regardless of race, color, sexual orientation, gender, in any. I personally believe love transcends all of those things. But that's also another story for a different time. There's just another and like an interesting thing about when things come to the West. Then we have one of Kaiba's more vanilla signature cards, the Battle Ox down here. We have one of Yugi's more signature cards. This is the Guy the Fierce Knight, and then we also have Yugi's Swords of Revealing Light. So I just found that kind of like an interesting caricature of how they put some of their signature cards on the tin. But anyway, moving into the actual. So, unfortunately, no Red Eyes Dragoon out of the first tin, but we still have two left. So let's get. Now, I don't actually know if the card, the Red Eyes Black Dragoon card, is in the tin itself or within the mega pack. So not finite yet that I didn't get it, but we'll see. No, that'd be funny if I pulled it on the very first pack. So what we have here, we have Dimmer Glimmer, Extra Hero Cross Crusader, Gladiator Beast Sagittary, Marincess Snow, which is part of the Marincess archetype, Guard Dragon Shield. Guard Dragon is a really maybe not necessarily meta, but a lot of Guard Dragons are used in mixture decks too. Decks that kind of have an engine and spruce it up with some other cards as well. So that's a really cool thing too. We have one of the Dino Wrestler cards, Dino Wrestler Material Anga. And then we have our super rare card is Marincess Blue Slug. It's a Cyberse Link effect, which requires one level 4 or lower Marincess monster. Its effect is, if this card is Link summoned, you can target one Marincess monster in your graveyard, except Marincess Blue Slug. Add it to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except water monsters. You can only Link summon Marincess Blue Slug once per turn. So nice. And our next card is the super rare evil. So yeah, note that there are two super rares and two ultra rares in this version of the mega pack, so 2020 versions. So we have Evil Eye Retribution, which reads, when a spell or trap card is activated while you control an Evil Eye monster, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. If Evil Eye Celine is in your spell and trap card zone, this card's activation and effect cannot be negated. You can only activate one Evil Eye Retribution per turn. Nice. Our I believe this is prismatic. Yeah, I believe this is a prismatic secret rare, which is and actually I am happy because I do want to collect the Sky Strikers because it's a really interesting archetype. So this Sky Striker Ace, Kaina, I believe, which requires one non-Earth Sky Striker Ace monster. If this card is special summoned, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. It cannot attack until the end of your opponent's turn. Each time you activate a Sky Striker spell card or its effect, gain 100 life points immediately after the card or effect resolves. You can only special summon Sky Striker Ace, Kaina, or Kainas once per turn. This is a really interesting looking card. Oh yes, I definitely want to collect all the kaiju cards. And of course, this is I can't remember all the actual because I know the kaiju cards not even that they take heavily, they are literally taking from Godzilla and all the monsters that Godzilla has faced throughout the movies. So I believe this is a play on Ghidorah. I know there's the card that specifically looks like Ghidorah, but I believe this is a retrain of the Ghidorah Yu-Gi-Oh! The card that's based off of the Ghidorah. This is a super anti kaiju War Machine Mecha Thunder King. It's a machine effect, and its effect is during the main phase, quick effect, you can discard this card, banish one kaiju monster you control that is owned by your opponent. Then you can special summon one monster from your graveyard. You can only control one kaiju monster. This card is unaffected by other kaiju cards' effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by battle with a kaiju monster. During your end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Super Anti-Kaiju War Machine Mecha Thunder King once per duel. Oh, interesting. So it's a once per duel effect. Yeah, because this card only has two heads, and I know Ghidorah has three. However, it has two heads, and then there's like a cannon, so maybe the cannon functions as the third head. So it's kind of interesting there as well. But I'm really happy I pulled that, and I believe this is actually a so a lot of the mega packs have rarity upgrades for certain cards, but also rarity downgrades. Now the downgrades are good because you're able to get staple cards or cards that you wanted a lot for your deck a lot easier, and the upgrades are just nice and not necessarily people go for like a full rare rarity deck, so all the cards in the deck are rare or above. But it's just nice to kind of have like one of your cards in your deck be shiny and nice. So I'm really happy that I pulled that. And that's our ultra rare for the this pack. And then we have our next ultra rare, because we get two in this Megaton set, is Evil Eye of Selene, which is good because that's what we needed to couple with our Evil Eye of Retribution to get its extra effect that protects it. That means it can't be this card can't if this card's in play, this card cannot be stopped from being activated. An Evil Eye of Selene is an equipped spell card which reads equipped only to an Evil Eye monster. If it cannot be destroyed by a battle or your opponent's card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Each time you activate the equipped monster's effect, or you activate another Evil Eye spell or trap card, the equipped monster gains 500 attack. If it does, you lose 500 life points. This attack gain remains even if this card leaves the field, so it's permanent. It's a permanent attack gain. If this card in your graveyard is in your graveyard, you can pay 1,000 life points. Then banish one Evil Eye spell or trap card from your graveyard, except the Evil Eye of Selene. Set this card. You can only use this effect of Evil Eye of Selene once per turn. Nice. And then our rare is Danger, Excitement, Mystery, which is part of the Danger archetype, which reads discard a 1 level 5 or higher Danger monster. Add 1 level 4 or lower Danger monster from your deck to your hand. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, except Danger monsters. You can only activate 1 Danger, Excitement, Mystery per turn. Nice. Then we have Gladiator Beast United, Tenyi Spirit Vishuddha, Gladiatus Vespices or Vespasius, Time Thief Hack, Marincess Seastar, and Marincess Crown Tail. Nice. On to the next. So no Red Eyes Dark Dragoon or none of the world premiere cards yet, but we still have hope. So we have Infinitrack Drag Shovel, Time Thief Flyback, Jelly Cannon, Chaos Betrayer, Fury of Fire, World Legacy Cliffhanger, and our first super rare card is Speed Lift, which reads, if you control exactly one tuner and no other monsters, special summon one level 4 or lower Speedroid monster from your deck. Neither player can activate cards or effects when that monster is special summoned. Interesting. Nice. And our second super rare is Wailing of the Unchained Souls, which reads, if you link summon an Unchained Link monster, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. If this set card is destroyed by a card effect, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your deck. You can only use each effect of Wailing of the Unchained Souls once per turn. Nice. Then our prismatic is Pot of Extravagance. Nice. Which is part of the jar/pot series of cards, which have varying effects, will typically let you draw. Now, all of these cards are really retrains, of course, of Pot of Greed, which was busted. Just baseline let you draw like 2/2 cards. It was automatic but +1 in card advantage. But now most of these cards have some cost or drawback, but in the time where now a lot of effects activate when a card is banished or when cards go to the graveyard, it actually ends up being a double bonus. So you put the cards in the graveyard, you get a whole bunch of advantage off of those graveyard effects, and on top of that, you get to draw cards from your deck as well. But Power Extravagance reads, at the start of your main phase, banish 3 or 6 random face-down cards from your extra deck. Face down. It's redundant, but draw 1 card for every 3 cards banished. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot draw any cards by card effect. Now, Power Extravagance, for example, it lets you gain advantage if you have cards in play that like cards being banished. But being banished face down is the worst form of removal for you. It's the best form of removal against your opponent, but worst form of removal if you have to do it yourself, because there's no way for you to use those cards except by you can return banished cards. Now, there are certain cards, like, for example, Grand Maju, which gains attack points from per banished card, so that works in your favor. But this basically, you mill a bunch of cards from your extra deck, mind you. Now, if you don't play from your extra deck, then that may not be so bad. And then you get to draw two cards if you banish 6. So that's Power Extravagance. Still happy to get that card. I would like to collect all of the jar and pot cards as well. Now, our other is ultra rare, or our first ultra rare is Witchcrafter Pittori, and her effect is, during the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card, then discard 1 spell. Special summon 1 Witchcrafter monster from your deck except Witchcrafter Pittori, or Pitoir. You can banish this card from your graveyard, draw 1 card, then send 1 Witchcrafter card from your hand to the graveyard, or, if you have none, banish your entire hand. You can only use each effect of Witchcrafter Pittori once per turn. It's part of the Witchcrafter archetype. And then our second ultra rare is Cherubini, Ebon Angel of the Burning Abyss. So another Burning Abyss card to go along with our Virgil that we got from our 2015 Mega Pack. It requires 2 level 3 monsters. It's a fairy link effect with decent link arrows that point towards your own side. And his effect is monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects. So yes, even better link arrows for yourself. If this card would be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can send one other card you control to the graveyard instead. You can send 1 level 3 monster from your deck to your graveyard, then target 1 Burning Abyss monster on the field. It gains attack and defense equal to the attack and defense of the monster sent to the graveyard until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect of Cherubini, E1 Angel of the Burning Abyss once per turn. It's a really cool looking card as well. And our rare is Link Mail Archfiend. With a Cyber's Link effect, it requires 2 monsters, including a Ritual, Fusion, or Synchro monster. And his effect is, if this card is special summoned, you can target 1 Ritual, Fusion, or Fusion, Synchro, or Exceed monster you control or in your graveyard. All monsters your opponent currently controls lose attack equal to the targeted monster's attack until the end of his turn. Your opponent cannot target monsters you control that were special summoned from the extra deck with monster effects. If this card would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can banish 1 Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, or Exceed monster from your graveyard instead. Nice. And it's cool because it has kind of 4 arms or 4 hands, and each of the orbs, energy orbs, it's controlling or it's kind of holding onto is in relation to the color of the cards of each of the cards. So we have black for Exceeds, white for Synchro, purple for Fusion, and we have blue for Link. Oh no, for Ritual. Link monsters are also blue, but they have that kind of hexagonal effect on the card as well. Then we have Flawless Perfection of the Tenny, Modolce Petingesor, Tyrant Farm, Dino Wrestler Terra Pecorio, Infinitrack Crab Crane, and Defender of the Labyrinth, which is interesting because this is a retrain of that one vanilla card, Defender of the Labyrinth, which is really cool as well. So I love when they do like those retrains. I'm actually really happy that I pulled that card as well. Nice. Now to our last pack of the first tin. So we got another extra Hero Cross Crusader, another Gladiator Beast Setitari, Infinitrack Drag Shovel, Guard Dragon Shield, another Dino Wrestler, Chaos Betrayer, and we have Marincess Seahorse, whose effect is you can summon this card from your hand. You can special summon this card from your hand to your zone a Marincess Link monster points to. You can only special summon Marincess Seahorse once per turn this way. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon 1 water monster from your hand to your zone a Marincess Link monster points to. You can only use this effect of Marincess Seahorse once per turn. Nice. Going along with our Marincess Blue Slug that we pulled. Witchcrafter Creation. And we have, which reads, add 1 Witchcrafter monster from your deck to your hand. During your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter, sorry, I had the wrong inflection there. If you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use 1 Witchcrafter Creation effect per turn and only once that turn. And see, it has Praetori and another Witchcrafter monster on there, combining their abilities. Oh, yes! This is actually, I'm really happy I got this. This was the one card that I wanted, and this is going to be a really nice upgrade, because I will soon be on the hunt for all the Borolo dragons and all the rocket archetype dragons as well, because I love that archetype. Is a really unique archetype to me, and this is a really nice rarity upgrade for me as well, because I believe the original rarity of this is an ultra rare, and I got the prismatic secret rare, so I'm really happy about that. This was the one card that I really wanted to pull. So Strike a Dragon, which is a Dark Dragon Link effect, and its effect is it requires one level 4 or lower dragon monster. If this card is link summoned, you can add one Boot Sector launch from your deck to your hand. You can target one face-up monster you control and one rocket monster in your graveyard. Destroy that monster on the field, and if you do, add the other monster from your graveyard to your hand. You can only use each effect of Strike a Dragon once per turn. I'm really happy I pulled that. It's a really nice kind of prismatic effect on the card as well, if you can see that. Nice. And then our first ultra rare is Mech Knight Crusadia Avramax, whose effect is requires 2 special summon monsters from the extra deck to link summon it. While this link summon card is on the field, your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. Also, their monsters cannot target monsters for attacks except this one. Once per battle, during damage calculation, if this card battles a special summon monster, quick effect, you can make this card's attack equal to that opponent's monster's attack during the damage calculation only. If this link summon card you control is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card, you can shuffle one card from on the field into the deck. And it can be one of any cards, so you can shuffle one of your cards back into the deck, or you can shuffle one of your opponent's cards back into the deck. So nice. It has really good link. It has good link arrows as well. Our next ultra rare is Abomination's Prison, which reads: add one Unchained card from your deck to your hand. If this set card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon one Unchained monster from your deck. You can only use each effect of Abomination's Prison once per turn. Cool card artwork there. And then our rare card is White Howling. If you control a water monster, target one spell in your opponent's graveyard. Banish it. And if you do, for the rest of this turn, negate all spell effects on your opponent's field. It's kind of like a one-turn spell negate against your opponent. That's cool as well. Then we have another Tenyi Spirit Vishuda, Gladiator Beast Vespasius, Flawless Perfection, Guard Dragon Garmides or Garmides, Time Thief, Sea Star. Alright, so that is our first tin done. On to the seconds. Now, I know the 3 premier cards actually are part of the you have to pull those, that they wouldn't just be in the tin. Still unsure whether or not Dragoon is like that as well, or if it is in the mega packs as well. Alright, so no Dragoon in that tin, but let's check the packs. Alright. So I'll multi these up like we typically do. Start from the middle. Mix it up a bit. Alright, so we have a Ranryu, a Draw Discharge, Spiritual Entanglement, a Salamangreat Paro, or Paro? It's probably Paro, for Parrot. Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf, Marinsa Snow, and our first super rare is FA Shining Star GT, which is requires 2 machine monsters. It's a machine link effect monster, whose effect is gains attack equal to the total level of the FA monsters this card points to. times 300. Neither player takes any battle damage from attacks involving this card. Each time a FA spell or trap card or effect is activated, place one athlete counter on this card. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can remove one athlete counter from this card. Negate the activation, and if you do, destroy it. You can only use this effect of FA Shooting Star GT once per turn. It's that card kind of reminds me of Speed Racer a little bit. For any of my old school cartoon fans out there. Then we have another Witchcrafter creation. Ooh, we have a Time Thief Redoer as our prismatic secret rare for this pack. It is a rank 4 Exceed monster, which requires generic 2 level 4 monsters. And his effect is, once per turn, during the standby phase, you can attach the top card of your opponent's deck to this card's material. Quick effect. You can detach up to 3 different types of materials from this card, then apply the following effects depending on what was detached. Monster. Banish this card until the end phase. Spell. Draw 1 card. Trap. Place 1 face-up card your opponent controls on top of the deck. You can only use this effect of Time Thief Redoer once per turn. Now, I believe the anime is called Chronos Crusade or something. The main character of the anime basically looks exactly like this, like the monster on this card, and it's like people, they go through time or they travel around the center of the world, and there are these like time eating monsters that attack people who wish for time to be either go back in time or what like have you. But the main character, like, there are 2 main characters, and the main character that looks like this character is the grandfather of the other main character, but looks younger than the main character because he has some kind of time curse on him, and he uses that time curse to like attack. It's really cool, but he literally looks exactly like this monster. I can't remember what the anime is off the top of my head. When I remember, I'll actually put the name of the anime into the video description. Anyway, that's actually really cool. I'm kind of happy that I pulled that card. And then our first ultra rare is another Cherubini Ebon Angel, the Burning Abyss. Our second is Evil Eye Domain Periodolia. Yeah, Periodolia. It's a field effect which states, when this card is activated, you can add 1 Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, during damage calculation, if your Evil Eye monster is attacked, while Evil Eye of Selene is in your spell or trap card zone, you can make the battle damage you take from this battle also afflicted to your opponent. If this card in the field zone is destroyed by card effect, you can target 1 Evil Eye monster in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. You can only activate 1 Evil Eye Domain Periodolia once per turn. Nice. And our next card is our rare is Valkyrie's Embrace. That's another archetype I want to collect all the Valkyrie cards. I've loved them ever since I saw the episode with the Siegfried in the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, and it was a super interesting archetype. And since then, I've wanted to collect it. So this effect is, if all monsters you control are Valkyrie monsters, target 1 attack position Valkyrie monster you control. Add 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Change the monster to defense position, and if you do, banish that opponent's monster. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this card, except Valkyrie monsters. You can only activate 1 of Valkyrie's Embrace per turn. Now, this is an example of a rarity downgrade, so it makes it easier to get. So I believe the original rarity of this card is actually ultra rare. So that would be tougher to get in the booster set that it comes from. But I am happy that I picked it up nonetheless. Then we have an Exceed Dolphin, Marincet's Mandarin, the Time Thief Beazle Ship, the Dino Wrestler Chimera T Rexel, Guard Dragon Cataclysm, and Crusher Run. Nice. So we'll go to the left. All the cards I own in the box to the left. No, I'm just kidding. So my dry humor gets the best of me sometimes. So, in this set, we have Marincess Battle Ocean. We have Tenyi Spirit Mapura, or Mapura. Another Sagittarii. Another Guard Dragon Shield. Dino Wrestler. Chaos Betrayer. And our first super rare is Synet's Mining, which reads, send one card from your hand to the graveyard, add one level 4 or lower Cyberse monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one Synet Mining per turn. Cool. And this is another one of the, a Rocket card. It is super rare, Overburst Dragon, which requires 2 Rocket monsters. Its effect is, you can target one other Link monster you control. Special summon one Rocket monster from your hand to your zone that target points to. But the monster summoned by this effect cannot be used as Link material. Also, destroy it during the end phase. You can only use this effect of Overburst Dragon once per turn. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Rocket monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. It's kind of like a Rocket recycler a little bit, so that's really cool. I'm really happy I pulled that as well. Go nicely with my Rocket deck. Plan on building? Ooh! Our Prismatic Ultra Rare is Cyberse Quantum Dragon. Level 7 exceeds. Whew. A level 7, I almost said Link. A level 7 Synchro monster, that's it. Which requires one tuner and one or more non-tuner monsters, and its effect is, while you control a Link monster, monsters your opponent controls cannot target monsters you control for attacks except this one. Also, your opponent cannot target monsters you control with card effects except this one. Once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can return that opponent's monster to the hand. Also, this card can make a second attack in a row. Nice. It's got some decent removal and decent protection for the rest of your field. It's almost like a floodgate that kind of goes into a bottleneck. So that's kind of cool. Nice. And then, we got a Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. It's our first ultra rare. It's a spellcaster effect. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster monster or monsters you control, or targets it for attack, quick effect. You can target one card your opponent controls or one Witchcrafter spell in your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, return the targeted card to the hand. You can only use this effect of Witchcrafter Golem Aruru once per turn. Once per turn, during your opponent's standby phase, return this card to the hand. Awesome. Ooh, nice. Really happy I got this. This is a fusion card for the Destiny Heroes. That's another archetype that I really loved when it came out. I love Elemental Heroes and I love the Destiny Heroes. And also the Evil Heroes and now the newer heroes, the Vision Heroes. So that's really cool too. And then of course there are also the manga heroes too. Just the hero archetype is just one of my favorite archetypes in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! As well. So I'm really happy I pulled this card. Its effect is, and actually it has a card showing Destiny Hero Plasma or Blood, which BLOO-D in the Japanese, and then Destiny Hero Dogma, I believe his name is, and then of course their fusion in the back. So fusion summon one fusion monster from your extra deck that lists a Destiny Hero monster as material, using monsters from your hand or deck as fusion material, but destroy it during the end phase of the next turn. Also, for the rest of this turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters except Dark Hero monsters. You can only activate one Fusion Destiny per turn. Nice, really happy with that. And then our rare is Capshell, whose effect is, you can only use one of the following effects of Capshell per turn, and only once that turn. If this card is tributed, draw one card. If this card is used as material for a Fusion, Synchro, or Link summon, you can draw one card. If this card is detached from an Exceed monster to activate that monster's effect, you can draw one card. Nice. Then we have Guard Dragon Core Awakening. Core Awakening. Witchcrafter Draping. Guard Dragon Justicia. It's always interesting to me when I see a normal monster, but it's also a tuner, so that's actually really cool too. We have BES Blaster Cannon. I was hoping I'd pull this card. Now, I already have the original version of this card, but I just wanted to point out that, and maybe at some point in the future, I will do in my favorite archetypes card, and I absolutely love any single card that has to do with Konami's Gradius. I love shmups. Shmups are one of my favorite genre of video games, so I've made it my mission to definitely collect every single card that comes out that has to do with shmups. I'm doing pretty well. I have a lot of the Gradius cards. I have a lot of the I believe there are some Darius cards in there. I don't think there are any specific R-type cards in there yet, but I really hope they do make some R-type cards in the future, because out of all the shmups outside of Gradius and Thunder Force, R-type is one of my all-time favorite shmup shooters in general. And yes, and then we have Salamangreat Transcendence and Dino Wrestler Eshkirma Menshi. Yeah. And our last third. So we have another Valkyrie card. Valkyrie Funfetti. Yeah. Then we have Blastius, Familiar of the Evil Eye. The Time Thief card. Monk of the Tenny. Guard Dragon Andrake. Apple of Enlightenment, which is one of the Valkyrie support cards. Then our first is Test Panther, which is part of the wow, can't remember the archetypes off the top of my hand. The Gladiator Beast archetype, and it's moderately a retrain of Test Tiger, but let's see what it does. So it's a Beast Link effect, which requires 2 monsters, including a Gladiator Beast monster. Its effect is, if this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Gladiator Beast card from your deck to your hand. You can target 1 Gladiator Beast monster you control. Shuffle that Gladiator Beast monster into the deck, and if you do, special summon 1 Gladiator Beast monster with a different original name from your deck. This is treated as a special summon by a Gladiator Beast monster's effect. You can only use each effect of Test Panther once per turn. So that's a really cool addition to the archetype that kind of harkens back to Test Tiger. Then our second super rare is Mermail Abyssalicia. Yeah. Sea Serpent requires 2 fish, Sea Serpent, or Aqua monsters. Monsters this card points to gain 500 attack and defense. You can only use each of the following effects of Mermail Abyssalicia once per turn. During your opponent's turn, quick effect. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, add 1 Mermail monster from your deck to your hand. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's attack or card effect, you can send 1 water monster from your deck to the graveyard, then target 1 water monster in your graveyard. Special summon it in defense position. Kind of out of frame there, sorry about that. Ooh, and our Prismatic Secret Rare of this pack is Draco Masters of the Tenny, which is a Worm Link effect, which requires 2 monsters, including a Link monster. Which, if you notice that Monk of the Tenny that we pulled, it is the same guy on that one. So its effect is, cannot be destroyed by battle with an effect monster. If you can control no other effect monsters, you can destroy effect monsters your opponent controls up to the number of non-effect monsters you control and or in your graveyard. You can only use this effect of Draco Masters of the Tenyi once per turn. Nice. Ooh, and our ultra rare is Dirige of the Lost Dragons. Whenever I see the word like Dirige, it always reminds me of Dirige of Cerberus, the Final Fantasy VII offshoot game with Vincent Valentine. Good game. If you haven't played it, definitely pick it up. So the effect is activate this card by declaring one card name. Each time the declared card or its effect is activated, half its owner's life points immediately after it resolves. During the end phase, if this card halved a player's life points this turn, send this card to the graveyard. While your opponent controls a monster, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. Nice. And then we have another Witchcrafter Pitore, the other ultra rare. And then our rare is Marincess Crystal Heart, which is a Cyber Link effect and requires 2 water monsters. And its effect is unaffected by your opponent's monster effects. While this card is in the extra monster zone. Sorry, let me reread that. Unaffected by your opponent's monster effects while this card is in the extra monster zone. During the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster is unaffected by card effects except its own. When this card or your Marincess Link monster this card points to, is targeted for an attack, you can send one Marincess monster from your hand to the graveyard. For that battle, your monster cannot be destroyed by battle, and you take no battle damage. Oof. Right on. Then we have Unchained Twins Aruha, Infinitrack Brutal Dozer, Tyrant Dino Fusion, Unchained Twins Rekia, a Sea Star, Tenyi Spirit Chitana. That's it. Now on to our last and final chance to pull a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Let's see if we can do it, folks. All right. Let's see what we can do with the last 3. So we have Salamangreat Wolvie, World Legacy Guard Dragon Mardark, Abominable Chamber of the Unchained, another Apple of Enlightenment, Salamangreat Recurrence, World Legacy Cliffhanger, and our Valkyrie Irda. Awesome. I was hoping I would pull, and I pulled some of the Valkyrie cards. I was hoping I would pull them. I'm really happy with this. Her effect is you can only control one Valkyrie Irda. While you control this card, special summoned by the effect of a Valkyrie card, all face-up monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack. Any card destroyed by battle or card effect that would be sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished instead. So kind of like almost a built-in Macrocosmos. Nice, really happy with that. Our next is Evil Eye Repose. When you activate this card, you can banish one Evil Eye card from your graveyard. Draw one card. Once per turn, after damage calculation, if your Evil Eye monster equipped with Evil Eye of Selene attack an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster. If this card in the spell and trap card zone is destroyed by card effect, you can target up to 3 of your banished Evil Eye cards. Return them to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Evil Eye Repose per turn. Nice. And I believe the next is going to be the Prismatic Secret Rare. Yeah. World Legacy Monstrosity. Quick play. And its effect is activate 1 of these effects. Special summon 1 level 9 monster from your hand, or target 1 level 9 monster you control. Special summon from your deck 2 level 9 monsters, each with different original type and attribute from that face-up targeted monster, and with different names from each other. But these 2 monsters cannot attack. Also destroy them during the end phase. You can only activate 1 World Legacy Monstrosity per turn. Cool. Then our ultras is we have the other, if I can find it. We have the other Witchcrafter that was on the card with our Pitori. Interesting. So, okay. So this card's name is Witchcrafter Pitori, but this one's name is Witchcrafter Pottery, I believe? I just noticed that. For a second, I looked at it, I was just like, the same name. I was like, did they accidentally misprint the name? But anyway, during the main phase, quick effect. You contribute this card from its card, then discard 1 spell. Special summon 1 Witchcrafter monster from your deck, except Witchcrafter Pottery. If you have no cards in your hand, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target 1 Witchcrafter card in your graveyard. Add it to your hand. You can only use each effect of Witchcrafter Pottery once per turn. Nice. And our next is Get Out. Target 2 monsters your opponent controls that were special summoned from the extra deck. Shuffle them into the deck. You can only activate 1 Get Out per turn. Nice. Very short and straight to the point. Ooh. Then our rare is Subterror Guru, which is one of the main cards in the Subterror archetype. Its effect is Flip. You can add 1 Subterror card from your deck to your hand except Subterror Guru. You can target 1 other face-up monster on the field. Change that monster, also this card, to face-down defense position. This is a quick effect if you control another Subterror card. You can only use each effect of Subterror Guru once per turn. So it's a really good card. Their archetype kind of revolves around their effects activating upon flip summoning. So maybe being able to flip them face down easily with this card makes it even better. Ooh, then we have Destiny. Ooh, I can add this to my Destiny Hero deck. The Destiny Hero Draw Hand, whose effect is, if this card is special summoned by the effect of a hero monster, you can make each player draw 1 card. During the next standby phase, after this card was sent to the graveyard, you can special summon this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use each effect of Destiny Hero Draw Hand once per turn. Nice, really happy with that too. Then we have Salamangreat Fennec. We have Berserker of the Tenyi. Time Thief Hack. Another Dino Wrestler. And another Dino Wrestler. Awesome. So, another Valkyrie. Wolvie. Battle Ocean. Dino Wrestler Rambrachio. Assuming it's a combination of Rambunctious and Brachio, or maybe Rampage and Brachio. That's cool. A Chaos Betrayer. He betrayed the Chaos. Desert Locust. And, ooh, we got Nightmare Incarnation Eadley. which is a level 9 fairy effect monster, which reads level 9 monsters you control. Well, sorry, level 9 monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each of the following effects of Nightmare Incarnation easily once per turn. If the total link rating of the monsters on the field is 8 or more, quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned while your opponent controls more link monsters than you do, you can send all link monsters on the field to the graveyard. Now this card is part of the longest so far of the Duel Monsters lore, based on their card artworks, and she is part of the World Legacy archetype. So that's really cool. I'm glad I pulled that. Then we have Zerziel, Ruler of the Evil Eye. Nice. And their effect is it requires 2 Evil Eye monsters. If this card was link summoned using a monster with 2600 or higher attack as material, you can make a second attack during each battle phase. Nice. If this card is equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, quick effect, you can target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can only use the effects of Zerziel, Ruler of the Evil Eye, once per turn. Once per turn, during the next standby phase after this effect is activated, negate the effect of one effect monster this card currently points to. Nice. It's really cool artwork on that too. Then we got the Romulus, Dragoonity Knight Romulus, which is our prismatic secret rare for this pack. It's a Dragon Link and requires 2 Dragon and or Wing Beast monsters except tokens. Its effect is, if this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Dragon Unity trap or spell or 1 Dragon Ravine from your deck to your hand. If a dragon monster or monsters is our special summon from the extra deck to a zone this card points to, except during the damage step, you can special summon 1 dragon or winged beast monster from your hand in defense position. But for the rest of the turn, its effects, if any, are negated, and it cannot be used as link material. You can only use each effect of Dragoonity Knight Romulus once per turn. Nice, and this is also an upgrade to rarity as well, so I'm really happy with that. And it's a dragon, so even better. Then we have another Evil Eye Peridolia. Then we have another Witchcrafter Golem Aruru. Then we have Final Light, which is another. Oh, that's our rare card, part of our Valkyrie archetype, which reads: pay life points in multiples of 1,000. Then target 1 Valkyrie monster in your graveyard with a different name for every 1,000 life points paid. Special summon them, then your opponent can special summon monsters with 2,000 or less attack from their graveyard up to the number of monsters you special summoned by this effect. You can only activate 1 Final Light per turn, so it's a way to kind of swarm Valkyries on the field, so that's actually really cool as well. Then we have Gladiator Beast United, Gladiator No Machia, Guardian Core Awakening, You're in Danger, another Tenyi Spirit, and a Marincess Crown Tail. Now on to our final cards. Now, are we going to get a major upset, or are we going to get a Heart of the Cards draw like I pulled the Dark Rebellion Exceed Dragon? Let's find out. So we have a Dino Wrestler Marshall Ankleo. We have a Ranryu. Oh. We have a Rising Fire. Gladiator Beast Charge. A Tenyi Spirit Nahata. A Marincess Sea Angel. And now getting into our first rare cards, we have another Marincess Seahorse. We have another Witchcrafted Creation. And our secret rare is Gizmek Yata, the Gleaming Vanguard, which reads: you can special summon this card from your hand by tributing one normal summon monster. You can only use each of the following effects of Gizmek Yata the Gleaming Vanguard once per turn. During your main phase, if this card was normal special summoned this turn, you can immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon one monster. If you do, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except monsters with the same original type as that monster. If this card is special summoned by its own effect, if this card special summoned by its own effect is tributed, gain. Wow, that's a really unique amount of life point gain. Gain 2,050 life points. Cool. Another Fusion Destiny. Another Abomination's Prison. Another Valkyrie's Embrace. And then Fist of the Unrivaled Tenny. Danger Feats of Strength. Pegasus Wing. Hop Ear Squadron. BES Cannon Core, Blaster Cannon Core, and then a Guard Dragon Reincarnation. With that, that brings us to the end of the video. Sadly, we didn't get the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and we actually didn't even pull any of the three premiere cards either. But maybe in a future episode, I may try this again. Maybe because it is still relatively easy to pick up these tins. But until that time and until the next video, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for joining me. Please join me in my next video to continue to share with me in my love of Yu-Gi-Oh! And wherever you are, remember to believe the heart in the cards and have a good morning, afternoon, or night. Thank you for joining me. See you next time.